Um, this is the first thing that we're gonna be looking at. So I was on Twitter and basically I saw Peter Steinberg. If you guys don't know Peter Steinberg, he is the creator of OpenClaw, the first real publicly accessible, widely used AI agent harness. And that got acquired by ChatGPT, and so they maintain it alongside Peter Steinberg. So, um, he put out this tweet. Did nobody at Anthropic stop for a second and wonder why the numbers look this absurd before posting the victory tweet? And basically, it was this chart showing that basically Opus 5 High is getting a much higher score with less cost. Much higher, like much higher. Like it looks benchmark maxed. Okay? And so they released this model, Opus 5, and also OpenAI looked into it because they wanted to figure out like why their model isn't doing as good. So basically, when we first saw ChatGPT 5.6 shows low scores on Arc AGI 3 benchmark, we were puzzled, okay? And it's saying that, it's solved some stuff, it's done some incredible stuff, but on Arc AGI 3 specifically, it scored a 7.8% and 5.5 could barely even play the games at all. So we see that there's an improvement here, but with this specific diagnostic, you have the official Arc harness. What's going on, Max? Shout out to you, bro. Good to see you, man. But they have the official Arc harness, and then they have a responses API harness, which I'm not entirely sure what that is. It may be like something to do with their actual API or something to do with the Codex harness or something like that. But basically, using their own harness, they were able to, you know, get some great results out of this. And so it makes you question, okay, when Claude actually released this benchmark, like, did they do what ChatGPT did in this article? All right, so let's read further. Benchmarks rarely measure AI models in isolation. Okay, here it is. We discovered that turning on two settings we use in ChatGPT and Codex retained reasoning and compaction. All right, so these two things, reasoning and compaction, retained reasoning and compaction. It ended up tripling the scores and cut output tokens by 6 times. That's huge. By enabling two settings to have, retain reasoning and compaction, like that's, pretty cool. And so you can see how basically a model can put out a benchmark with having some type of knowledge that a company can put out a benchmark having kind of like a cheat code, if you will, or basically like a lesser known methodology. And so Claude probably turned on those settings before ChatGPT, investigated it. So it's pretty crazy. Like, honestly, I've been hearing that Opus 5 isn't even that good. I've been hearing that Opus 5 is slow. It has decent outputs, but it's just slow. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but let's see. This was one of the most impressive AI thresholds for me. I gave control challenge for the game. So it worked for five and making complex game choices and won. So this is an example of basically a randomized daily challenge. It was able to do good on this because of the basically the codex harness, the harness that is used inside of codex. If it was using the actual harness that Arc has for the diagnostic, it's not going to do good. So it makes you think, okay, on all of these other benchmarks, are people going to, experiment with how they can get the edge up on output, or how they can get the edge up on efficiency or the highest score? And you know, like I said before, I think all of these models are good enough at this point. Like they can pretty much do everything. Opus 5 is worse than GPT 5.6 Sol X high, but 2 times the price. Yeah, I believe it. Honestly, 5.5 point. I'll say this: 5.5 is the most stable model right now. You could say Fable 5 as well, but 5.5 is the most stable model right now. But 5.6 Soul is like not the most stable, but it's the most state of the art stable. If that makes any sense. Like it's the best model that's the most stable. And that's kind of how I look at it. Like for a number of tasks, I resort back to 5.5. Even over 5.6 sometimes, just because 5.6 sometimes has a mind of its own, and I just wanted to do specific stuff. So, I just go back to 5.5. Sometimes I even go back to 5.3 codex if I just wanted to do like minor changes, stuff like that. But it's very interesting. All right. Agents do best when they remember what they've done. So this is the important part. It was retained reasoning and compaction. All right. So we know that the context window for codex specifically is like, 258,000 tokens or something like that. Sometimes context windows can be like 1,000,000. But let's say that you would compact and then you would forget everything, and you wouldn't retain your reasoning, what you were thinking about, or what you compacted. So then you basically take all of this and make it disappear. Like all of this little block right here is gonna disappear when you go into this. You're gonna have no compaction retention, and you're only gonna like continue from the last step that you had. And so it makes perfect sense that their response API harness, turning on those two settings is a no-brainer. But I think stuff like this, because like I keep saying, these models are good enough. I think there are just like minor tweaks within it that need to be changed that will make them better. But that's it for this tweet. We're off of that.